Hey. Welcome to Addicted to Astrology, episode 11. I almost wanted to say all the way to heaven. Listen, y'all, I'm sitting on my porch listening to Mr. West up northwest, Washington, D.C. And I hope you can hear me because I am outside. I do live next door to people on the left and the right, people across from me. And I'm a little shy. I don't want everybody to know what I'm into. So maybe I'll bring you a little closer. This is our last week of Mercury Retrograde. This is the day after the 4th day of July. It's been so many miscommunicated, misworded ways to say yesterday. So then we woke up this morning. Actually, it happened last night, like right when we were out at the looking at the fireworks in downtown. We were uptown looking at the fireworks downtown in Washington, D.C. and got the news that we have a new candidate for presidency. And me, I like to stay neutral and positive. I like to keep my vibrations high. So I pretty much said, okay, we have a new candidate. You know, I don't want to have an opinion about everything. I want to stick to facts. Facts is, as long as you're an American, you can become president. Facts is, or you can, be elected to become president. You can run for presidency, as long as you're of age. And Kanye is younger. He's blacker. Despite everything else you say, he's a genius. So, and he has a wife that, I used to judge, but I don't anymore. She actually has the same birthday as my son, my only son. She's a Libra, he's a Gemini. Air signs unite. I'm a Libra ascendant. And I'm going to get into birth charts today and talk a little bit more about each position as the week progresses. But because I came on so late tonight, I'm not going to do too much tonight. I'm kind of winging it because I can't really see my notes on this porch, and I don't want to turn on the lights and attract mosquitoes. But I appreciate y'all tuning in. Hang in here with me for episode 11. This is July the 5th. I'm actually going to put this out before 11/11. Yay. And let's get busy. So you may hear fireworks because even though it's the 5th day of July, people are still going because it was on a Saturday. It was on the weekend. So if you hear fireworks, I will pause. And so I'm not losing my train of thought like I am now because I hear them in the distance. Anyway, like I said, it is still Mercury retrograde until next Sunday. And we will finally start to see relief because I cannot tell you all how much miscommunication happened just in today alone. That is why I'm doing this show this late. Even our communication of our air is not working in the house. That's why I'm out here. And if anybody knows DC, it's made on a swamp land, so it's very humid here. I started this YouTube channel in DC back in 2017. Then I moved to California in 2018, waited a year to start it up again. and got it into astrology actually when I came back to DC. But long story short, I haven't been in here in the summer for 2 months, so I'm just trying to get back used to the humidity. Long story short, I am winging most of this today. I am talking about duality in astrology. Today's the 11th episode and the 7th month, not the 4th day. It's actually the 5th day, but this is based on the 4th day. What happened on the 4th day? 7 plus 4 is 11. 11 is 2 ones, duality, and duality, without duality, you really can't talk about astrology. Astrology is more than duality sometimes. It's a number of things. It's very broad, very deep. It's a lot. And even before I get into the full moon in Capricorn lunar eclipse that happened yesterday, I just want to talk a little bit about duality in astrology, because the most favorite thing to say is what happens above, so below. So, as you know, I do these YouTube episodes because I am doing birth charts as a side gig, because I don't work right now because of the still pandemic, right? We're 4 months in now, right? Maybe 4.5 actually. So we are having to come up with innovative ideas, especially when when Saturn was in Aquarius just a few days ago for a short period of time. I believe it was from like the end of March or sometime in early April up until July the 1st. And it was an Aquarius showing us how to become more innovative and how to step into new changes. And there was a big change, there was a big change with the pandemic, the lockdown that we're on now still. And it made a lot of us who still are waiting on our stimulus checks, still waiting on unemployment, like myself, still didn't get a tax refund, anything. We had to come up with ways to make money from home. So my way is to do birth charts, and a lot of us in the Black community are supporting each other because we want our community as a collective to rise, and we want to be able to have our own things again. All this is in the astrology, so above everything that's happening in the world involves the planet Saturn. Saturn has to do with the world. Saturn has to do with the collective. Saturn has to do with government. Saturn has to do with restriction. Saturn has to do with masculine energy. It is a father planet. It is one of the biggest planets, one of the strongest energy planets, and it rules Capricorn, which it just came back into on July the 1st, like I said. So it is also in retrograde, which means it's giving even heavier lessons. We were able to step into Saturn in Aquarius for a short period of time to motivate us to work hard and learn how to work in different ways to make things happen. So, in order to make things happen in my own personal life, I came up with birth charts because I've always been into astrology. And I have been doing a lot of research being home, especially into birth charts, studying my family members, my friends, things like that. So I got like a surge of requests to do birth charts. It motivated me. I have not had any complaints. I answer questions. What I did was, to be more innovative and new with Saturn and Aquarius, I took the time to research anything I didn't know, research stuff I didn't know that people wouldn't know either, even if they're into astrology and they're not beginners, even though I got mostly beginner people into astrology. And I kind of tweaked it between studying, researching, listening to other astrologers, reading astrology books that I was given that I had already on deck, and then intuitively with my other talent and skill, writing, I scripted my own episodes, and then I started scripting my own birth charts, designing them in a different way than most astrologers have previously. You can go online and get your birth chart for free. However, it is a general reading for free. You'll notice on most of the free websites that offer astrology, they offer a more in-depth interpretation or results or reading if you pay. And I know that I was already in astrology since I was little because my mother was. And basically, I met a similar mindset online back in 2015. Her name is Scorpio Mystique. Shout out to you, Dosavia. And she can be found on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and YouTube. Scorpio Mystique. But she offered to do birth charts, and it was still kind of brief. It wasn't as in-depth as they can be, right? But it was so detailed. It was personal. And not only that, she offered it with an invitation to come have a, question and answer session with her when I was living in LA. So not only did I get to meet her, take pictures with her, we had free snacks and stuff. It was just refreshing to be able to read the birth chart, have question and answer time, see what other people are into. So that's why I made this birth chart. The birth charts that I do correlate with the episodes that I give you all. Excuse me. And there's plenty of people that do this on YouTube as well. And I just feel that there's always room for more. I always just use this example. When you go into a grocery store, there's not one bread brand to buy. There's Sara Lee, there's Wonder Bread, there's the generic store version. There's all kinds of bread brands in the aisle. So there's plenty of space for people to do the same things and just make it their own brand. And that is what I'm doing. I got into a heated discussion today in a Scorpio group because that's what Scorpios do. We pick each other's nerves. And I was polite with one sister meaning us. And then, so the code word now, not the code word, but the slang now, or the popular term now, is Karen. Karen came in and pretty much, well, you can buy it online. I'm like, well, yeah, as I told the sister above, you definitely can buy it online, but why not support somebody? When Scorpio Mystique did hers, and Scorpio Mystique is at least 12 years younger than me. Not saying anything, because we all can learn at our own pace, and she learned at a fast pace as a younger person. But she charged me $90, and I wanted to give it to her because I want to support Black businesses. B, I wanted to meet her because she's such a great personality online. And C, I wanted to pretty much get an in-depth session so that I can learn. And what she did was also promote us and motivate us that came to that meeting. It was about a good 50 people in a studio apartment that one of her friends opened up for us to have our question and answer session. And so it was intimate, but it was still very personal. And she did all that for $90 and still answers questions and still responds to you on Instagram and stuff like that, and still does daily stuff. So I'm trying to build up to that. But she motivated me. She motivated a lot of people and said, if you are really into this and you feel like this is your calling, then go ahead and do it. And that is what I'm doing. I'm not biting from anybody. I send kudos out to everybody that I do get information from. And I noticed that some people don't take it as the same information put in different ways. They just feel like people are stealing from them. But I wouldn't say that would be us, because a lot of us don't understand astrology, and it is more needed than ever, especially right now. So many people are kind of lost inwardly and outwardly, going back to duality. So let me look at my notes for a second really quick, y'all. Shout out also to the company, the black-owned business down the street, Blue Now, that I always get my incense from, but they do have a brand, so I want to cover up the brand, but this is Dragon's Blood I'm using today. And actually, because I'm outside, and I'm also using the full moon, I'm trying to hold that brand too, but the full moon cone incense. And then the blood. It's a good wind out here. I'm not happy too because it's been so hot all day. 95 in DC is like 105. The humidity. Lit this earlier. Give me one. It's perfect timing too, because somebody just lit their fireworks, and it was making a lot of noise for a minute. So this is what's called white sage, if you all don't know. And most of the time I don't do this on camera, but I'm trying to give a teachable moment. Y'all excuse the war zone in the background. I'm trying to give a teachable moment to you all. So this is white sage, smudge stick, some people call it. And you use these to cleanse your space, cleanse the energy. Make sure that the negative energy is going away. Normally you do this inside with the window open. I use it to take away the negative energy in my thoughts, what I see, what I say out my mouth, and what I listen to, and how I feel. And then I'll let it burn for a little bit until it burns out. This is good for, this is better than Lysol, actually, y'all. You can buy this at most spiritual stores, botanicas. Like I said, I got this from a black-owned store that pretty much sells incense, sea moss, all kinds of herbs and things of that nature at the Blue Now on Georgia Avenue down by Howard University. Shout out to Michael, who knows my family very well. This is doing good too. So this is also good to keep bugs away too. So this is why I have it outside. I live in Northwest Washington, D.C., where there's a lot of animals and things too. So my eyes will wander as I talk, y'all. All right. Also, to keep the positive energy, you might want to use a Palo Santo stick, which is good to use right after a smudge stick. I don't know all the history on Palo Santos. I'll research that and get it back to you. That is what I do. If I don't know something, I'll research it. If you need to know something, I'll research it. So anyway, Palo Santos, cones, incense, sage, smudge sticks to set the mood and clear your space and get your energy right. One other thing I want to touch on before we continue, and this is all about grounding, which I spoke on because there's so much going on. You want to ground yourself. So I'm just going to take a couple of deep breaths. And what I do is I breathe in 5 seconds and I slowly breathe out 5 seconds. So please watch. In through the nose. Another way to meditate and, you know, cleanse your energy is to stare at the full moon. And I did that last night. That's another reason why I'm behind today, because I stayed up till pretty much 5 o'clock in the morning when the sun started coming up. So I was just into the moon last night, because last night's lunar eclipse and full moon was in Capricorn, and that is my moon on my birth chart. I am a Capricorn moon, Scorpio sun, Libra rising. And those are one of the most important placements that you all will need to know and want to learn about with dealing with your birth charts. All the placements are definitely important to know, but those are the main ones. So just really quick, I wanted to go over the birth chart real quick, then talk about the lunar eclipse last night and how it will affect us, and the planet Saturn and the Pluto and Jupiter conjunction, and then I'm gonna end. Hopefully I won't go too long, sticking to 1 to 2 page notes on birth charts and 1 page notes on what I just said. All right, so your birth chart tells you about everything in your life, your life's purpose, your life's journey. You, like I said, can get this stuff offline. You can put your birth date, your time, and the place, like your city and state, in, on several ones. I use Cafe Astrology. There's several ones to use. I can't think of another one. There's another one called Astrology Cafe. They're backwards like that, and there's a couple of others that I might leave in the comment section, in the description section below. But as long as you have that, if you don't have the time, it won't be as accurate as it possibly can be. But you can put 12 o'clock p.m., which is, the middle of the day, and that will give you the closest possible results in interpretation of your birth chart. Birth chart is pretty much a snapshot of what was happening above to what was happening below. So this is a snapshot of these planets and the way they were stationed, and the asteroids and the constellation, which is the ascendant, and any of the other things, I did say asteroids, that happen above the planets, of course, and the signs that they were in and the houses that they were in during the exact time of your birth, the exact second. Every second something is moving. I told someone recently that I would find out how fast the houses move, because I'm not sure myself. But I do know that the moon moves every 2.5 days, and that is very important to know, because actually we are going into the Aquarius moon at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning on July the 6th. So just that fast. The Capricorn moon is almost over. But you'll feel, especially on a full moon night, you'll feel the energies of the full moon 3 days before and 3 days after the full moon happens. So today is the second day after the full moon. Tomorrow, even though it'll be in Aquarius, you'll still be able to feel the energies from it. This was also an eclipse, so eclipse energy can last up to 2 weeks, actually. All right. So duality is where I said it all begins. What above is also below. Whatever the planets are doing, the beings, the energies, the star seeds that we are happening below. I said this before, that our nervous system is connected to the energies. Real science, real history, real even religion. It's all connected, and it is all very real. So one thing I want to say in a serious matter is that astrology is not entertainment. I'm not going to sugarcoat things for you. Some astrologers do, or some people, especially if you're reading in horoscopes or magazines or style sections of a newspaper. It is for your entertainment only. It is not the most genuine. It is more general. It may even be just generically put together. It is not the best version as a birth chart is. Okay, so I'm going to definitely bring up the definition of horoscope and the difference of that in astrology, but astrology is, I'm trying to say this, very real. So you might hear things that you don't want to hear. You might hear things that excite you. All right, but the duality of it all is like light and dark. There are dark people. There are light workers, that we might say. There's highs and lows, especially with the way you vibrate, the energy you give. High vibrating energy is positive. Low vibrating energy is negative. There's another duality, negative and positive. Left or right, white or black, male or female. So there's a lot of duality, especially in astrology, because one of the signs, which is Gemini, deals with duality. And we just left Gemini season. All right. Shout out to Astro Finesse on YouTube, who actually I took notes on and based my own version of talking about birth charts, but I got some of the graphics that I'm showing you all on this episode from him. So he's a black young man, an Aries. So Scorpio and Aries are both from Mars, the planet Mars. We are ruled by the planet Mars, and Scorpio is also ruled by Pluto. But shout out to Astro Finesse on YouTube for allowing me to use the graphics on his video. All right, so your birth chart is pretty much what is transitioning and how the planets were also the aspects of the planets, like I talked about before, squares, sextiles, conjunctions. Like we're going to talk about the Pluto and Jupiter conjunction and what was going on with them in the second you were born, as well as on my birth charts. I compare them to what is going on right now. If you have similarities on your birth chart, which is compared to the cosmos forecast that's going on right now, like the moon being in Capricorn. So everybody that had a moon in Capricorn on their birth charts that I've done, I would explain to them that they might be affected more than others. Cancers, because this is Cancer season, and Cancer is the opposition sign of Capricorn. Cancers will be feeling that moon as well. A lot of people did have Jupiter and Saturn and Pluto retrograde on their charts as well. I know that I have Jupiter retrograde on my chart, and I make that comparison as well when I do your birth charts. The incense is rolling right now, y'all. Do y'all see the incense smoke? Anyway, so like I said, the transitions that were happening above were also happening on the collective, on the earth below at the time of your birth. And there's many things that's going on right now to the collective from the above, so below. Each of the 12 signs have symbols called glyphs. So the 12 signs, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, let me show you here in this video, and you will see the glyphs, which is just basically the symbols of your sun sign, the sign that everyone knows about themselves. Okay, so next, after you know your signs, then you will know the planets. The planets have inward planets, which are the ones that move the fastest, the ones that deal with you individually, which is the Sun, Moon, Mercury, Mars, and Venus. Those are the planets that deal with you individually. Then last, you have the outward planets that deal with the collective. So we're all part of the collective. So they also are part of you. But it's basically the generational planets. These are... Saturn is not a generational planet, but it deals with the collective because, again, Saturn deals with the world. So Saturn, Jupiter also is both of them, individually and the collective. Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. So those are the outward planets. Those, especially Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, move the slowest, have the most power, and deal with everyone, especially the last three, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, because they are based on our generations, Generation X, millennials, baby boomers before Generation X, Generation Z is after millennials, and then the babies now are called Generation Alpha something. I still forgot what that name is. I have a lot. I need to take notes on what I need to come back to tell y'all. But those planets are most important to your understanding, so that you can know how the signs make each planet operate when the planets are in those signs. So for instance, when a planet is at home, and it sounds like Mars is in Aries right now, it is more intense on the individuals. When a planet like Saturn is at home in Capricorn, it is more intense for the collective. When a planet as strong as Saturn is at home in Capricorn, and it has other planets that are conjunct or close to it, like Jupiter and Pluto are right now, they all make an intense effect on the collective, which is what is going on right now. All those planets are in Capricorn for the rest of 2020 and won't be transitioning. I don't even think Pluto will be transitioning until 2024, I believe, because Pluto moves the slowest. But those planets will be not transitioning out of Capricorn for the rest of the year. So we have a lot to learn. Capricorn, again, is like a sign that everything that Saturn does, Capricorn does, because that's its home. Everything that happens in the 10th house. The houses are another thing. They are the same exact, or have to do with the same exact things that the signs do. Capricorn, Saturn, and the 10th house all have to do with your career, your reputation, the world, and how it shows power, or how you operate with power in the world. It deals with the government. It deals with restriction. So the government is restriction. Your parents are restriction. Masculine energy is restrictive a lot. So just see how that correlates with the planet, the sign, and the house. Those three things are already a lot to tell, right? So on my birth charts that I do for $25, I give an example of the definition of the placement. So I tell you what a planet is about, what the sign is about, and then the twist of it is that I put the degrees, because degrees aren't really touched on anybody's birth chart, and degrees is what makes everybody different, especially even in the generational ones that don't move much. Say if you have a certain degree that is closer to the end, you have more of a mastering position of that sign, like you already know how to operate as a Capricorn if you are in the 28th or the 29th degree, which are the last 2 degrees. If you are in the 1st or 2nd degree or 0 degrees, you are learning what it's like, and have always been, even since birth, to operate as a Capricorn. So the degrees are very important too. I will get into degrees on a whole nother thing, because that is a lot to study. You have to study 0 to 29 degrees for each sign and each planet, so, and each house. So it's a lot. It's not easy, it's not simple, it's not something that a free website is going to tell you, honestly. And when I do people's birth charts, because I get so personal and so detailed and I want everybody to get as much out of it as they can for their $25, I definitely use that degree piece to switch it up for everything, because everybody definitely has a different degree. Nobody, even twins and triplets, even if they're born seconds apart, they're not going to have the same things, especially that degree piece. Okay, so that's a little bit about that in birth charts. So last thing I want to say about birth charts, the wheel that I'm showing you right after I speak here, the wheel, and I've also tried to try to do the screen mirroring thing, and I haven't mastered that yet. So if anybody can let me know how to screen mirror my phone so that I can show you what I'm looking at on my laptop, please let me know. But the wheel, you will see the glyphs that I just showed you. You will see the glyphs and the symbols for the planets as well. And then you'll see the little numbers, which means the minutes and the degrees under those glyphs and symbols. And then you will see the circle that has numbers on it. Those are the houses. The houses look like little pizza slices, so that you notice, you know, where they begin and end. Then they have little like lines, like tallies, lines like they're on a clock for like the minutes. And there's a dark tally to show you whatever sign, that glyph you see with the number and planet, the sign that it's in, the number. You'll see like a very bold or dark tally line within that border of the house number. I'm gonna, you know, use a little point finger so that you can see what I'm talking about in the next clip. But that pretty much will show you exactly where your house is, because the houses are kind of on an angle, so it's very hard to see where the planets are on the wheel. But those who really still have a hard time, like it took me a long time to be able to read the wheel. If you have a hard time reading the wheel, that's what the chart is for, and the chart will tell you the planet first, then the sign, then the degree it was in, and then on the end it'll show you R. It'll be a box for R, meaning that it was in retrograde, or if there's nothing in there, then it was not in retrograde. It was going direct, which means everything was okay. Retrograde is when you're learning life lessons, so you don't want a lot of R's. There's a lot of R's on people's charts right now because we have 5 planets in retrograde. So, long story short, birth charts are a lot. And if you know a Black astrologist, if you want to become a Black astrologist, if you just want to know more about yourself and what is going on in the world right now, spend a little dough and find out. You know, I'm want to lead up to the point where I can put this into a curriculum for homeschooling, which is what I'm doing also. I do the birth charts, I'm writing curriculums for homeschool, and I'm writing my book and my daughter's book, and I write scripts too. So just know that there's a lot to be learned, especially as we move towards a new era, especially as we move into Saturn and the Aquarius and the dawning of the Aquarius, the age of Aquarius. You know, we're just learning how to be more new and not modern, more innovative and not extroverted. Is that the word? You know, opening up our minds and our abilities. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with jobs. I'm gonna still have to work a job. I'm going back to work again, actually, in a week and a half. And I just want to work that job in order to fund my business and keep things going. So pretty much support businesses, small businesses, Black businesses, women businesses, children businesses, because children have dreams too that they want to achieve, especially my kids. I'm trying to keep them innovative and, you know, just support us in our endeavors. Support yourself, get to know yourself, learn something new. All right, let's move on. All right, so July is a pivotal month, y'all. It is when Saturn moved back into Capricorn, when the eclipse happened, when the conjunction to Jupiter and Pluto happened, a lot of new degrees happened even, and a lot of new portal, like new gateways to new things opened up. And what's important, especially about the degrees, is there's a degree called 14th, or the 13th and 14th degree in cardinal sign of Capricorn or Cancer. Capricorn especially, excuse me. Incense. Got a little tickle in my throat. All right, so the 13th or 14th degree in Capricorn was very life-changing since 2015. Pluto in 2015 Pluto went into Capricorn in 2015, transforming us since. I know that 2015 is when I finally got a divorce. I'm gonna move this incense back so I don't choke through the rest of the episode. Excuse me. 2015 is when we realized that we had to look for a new president. Capricorn deals with government again. What other things can you think of that happened in 2015? But I know it was pivotal for me and my family, that masculine energy with getting a divorce after being separated since 2009. It took my ex-husband that long to divorce me. When Pluto went into Capricorn in 2015. And so Pluto remains in one sign for 14 to 15, between 13 and 15 years. So that's why I said it's like over maybe in 2028. Okay. Saturn in 2019 went into Capricorn, and that helped us to mature, be more protective, more to slow down, more hardworking. It showed us a really real reality world that we are now heavily experiencing. And then Jupiter went into 14 degrees of Capricorn, and they all started around this degree, right smack in the middle. I don't think they can all start with it, but I guess that's the intense degree, right? They all got to start at 0. But that is the intense degree, so when they got to that point, it was really strong. So these are the times when it went in. Jupiter went into Capricorn this year in 2020, and it showed us how we can grow, how we can learn more, how we can expand our thinking. That's why I said it is very important for you to have an open mind and want to know more and not judge it or not say it's fake or phony in order to really get the results that you want. Jupiter is trying to tell everyone on Earth right now how it'll reward you if you open your mind and learn new things, expand your mind away from the old narratives and learn some new narratives, learn some new ways to live, some new ways to mature with Saturn conjuncting to it, some new ways to transform with Pluto conjuncting to it. So with the lunar eclipse, the moon also being in Capricorn this last day and a half now, or 2 days going into Aquarius in a couple of hours, it is removing the deeper challenges and past karma out of the whole, collective, and pretty much out of our lives for good. So Capricorn comes in, teaches you lessons, and then moves on in any planet. So the moon being in Capricorn, and I'm looking at it right now, it is definitely a emotional yet reserved. Like Capricorns reserve their emotions. They don't get too emotional. They don't show much emotion. And the Capricorn moon is kind of telling us that, to process things, don't get all worried, don't get all stressed, and continue to learn how to deal with your emotional side in a new way and move on, as it's getting ready to do in a couple of hours. So again, with all these planets in Capricorn and the moon with the eclipse that just affected everything that has to do with Capricorn, all of us, all the planets that are in place with Capricorn, it all is pretty much telling us that it's time to clean and cleanse and remove things that are just not serving their purpose with us anymore. It is telling us to go within the entire collective, within ourselves, and what we're experiencing and what changes need to be made so that we can expand and grow and transform with the other two planets that are in Capricorn, especially with Saturn being in Capricorn in its home. I've been talking about Saturn being in Capricorn for the last every episode, so y'all should know about this now. But with the sun still in Cancer and Mercury retrograde being in Cancer as well, this is giving us that motherly support to the father sign. Cancer is the mother sign. It also has to do with the moon, giving us support to the masculine energy, the father sign of Saturn being in Capricorn and all the other planets being in Capricorn. So you just learn how to continue to heal and stay grounded. And with the two the sun opposing the moon right now, Cancer sun opposing the Capricorn moon, this is like a tug of war of energies that are starting to release and soften up their pull, soften up the hard energies that come from the Capricorn masculine energy up against the soft energies that come from the Cancer, and the sun being the most powerful entity in the solar system is giving that I'm going to heal you whether you want it or not kind of energy. And they both are creating an intense reaction, an intense transition to each other, intense aspects. But they, the aspect being opposing, they are also building. Opposing means, you know, that there is going to be conflict, but they're building something great out of it. With pressure comes diamonds. So the more that they work towards working out whatever issues there are, they are also expanding and solving the issue and moving on in a newer, more genuine, more innovative kind of way. Also with Leo being the next sign up and the new moon in Leo coming up in the next 15 days, Leo being the sign of the sun will give us that individual attention that we need to pay attention to ourselves once Leo season starts. The motivation to be selfish but still learn how to be selfless with the energies of the Capricorn planets, the planets that are in Capricorn right now. Also Mars in Aries, which is an inner planet and that deals with your individual, and Chiron being in Aries. And I'm gonna speak on Chiron on another day too. I'm gonna definitely come back to Chiron, because Chiron is important. It's actually it's not a planet, but it's something else that's going in retrograde this month. Chiron is the healing asteroid that's also in Aries, and it wants to get us, it wants us to get us to going with the things that we want, the new changes that we want in the world, but we have to still learn with it and heal and learn how to deal with it before we move forward. We still got, like I said last week, things that are on our desk to handle before we can go to the new job, the new desk. July is telling us still not to rush, with Mercury being in retrograde in Cancer. It's teaching us how to communicate more, slow down, find the messages, process things in a more manageable way. And the Capricorn energy is protecting us as well with the healing energy from Cancer. So this is preparing us again for the new moon in Leo, and that being selfish but motivational, and still a very loving and giving sign, a generous sign, a leading kind of sign. Like, Leo is a lion. It is definitely going to put us in that mind frame once we move into Leo season, that we are better than we give ourselves credit to be. The eclipse, though, has the power to attract and manifest all the things and energies that are going on with the planets above. And with Capricorn, it can give you the abundance, the protection, and the transformation with the other things in Capricorn, the planets in Capricorn, that need to be in a more consistent way anyway. So when we're moving into this new era, you must release dead weight. You must realize what you have to let go of. You must review, redo, remove all the re's in retrograde season, especially under Capricorn. It's all about big lessons. And one thing I want to say, if during the new moon solar eclipse back in December 26th in Capricorn, if you set intentions back then, you might be seeing them play out now. Now, here's my story with that. For example, I write new moon intentions every new moon since July 31st, 2019, the day before I left LA to move to Vegas. I wrote new intentions, then I packed my book up and moved to Vegas. Then, because I felt that I needed to move home and not stay on the West Coast for whatever reason, and I found out it was because of what's going on right now, I had to leave most of my stuff there. I had a friend that actually drove to Vegas from over here, worked there for 6 weeks, and then drove back. That went and got as much as he could out of my storage, because I still haven't been able to get back over there. Long story short, he brought back what I needed, which was my new moon intentions journal, and he was a lifesaver for that. Shout out to Mo. But he brought this back for me, and then I went over today because I went to see if I wrote December 26th, but then I realized I didn't get this back until January. So that was the new moon in Aquarius, which is still good. But I did read that. I'm not going to read y'all because, you should keep your intentions to yourself. But I did actually read what I should be reading coming up with this new moon in Leo, because Leo is the opposing sign of Aquarius. I did read what I wrote on the new moon in Aquarius back in January of 2020. And a lot of those things are actually coming into fruition. Actually, they happened this past week. I made collaborations that I wrote that I would make in it. I asked for a certain place to live, and even though we're still here, I feel like either we're going to be here and we're going to get the proper updates that we need here, or we're going to move to a place that is perfect for us. So, keeping our fingers crossed, but I definitely put that in my new moon intentions book 6 months ago almost. And so check if you do write new moon intentions. If you don't, write your new moon intentions starting now on the new moons. This is a full moon right now. New moons are 2 weeks. New moons and full moons are 2 weeks apart from each other. New moons is when the moon is totally black. Full moon is when the moon is totally full and 100% visible. So anyway, full moons is when you do like release. You take a spiritual bath, which is a bunch of herbs and essential oils and certain things that I can let you know about later on another episode. But new moons is when you write down the things that you have planned for between a month and 6 months, and then you go back and revisit them and see. You work on the plan, of course. You work on your intentions, and then you go back and see how much your hard work paid off. Excuse me. So that's all about the Capricorn new moon. We're now in the Cancer. We had the Cancer new moon, but we're getting ready to go into the Leo new moon. That's why the full moon in Capricorn is opposing the Cancer sun. Hopefully that didn't go over y'all's head. All right, the sun opposing the moon transit currently is a great time. Again, like I said, for writing your intentions, and the new moon in 2 weeks, you want to make sure you do that. Jupiter and Pluto conjunction still is feeling strong, so this is like a really good manifestation time. You don't have to write in a journal for full moons. You can if you want to, but like I did last night, I just talked to the moon, thought about the things I wanted, meditated and spoke things into existence. So I plan on still things happening from this full moon as well, especially because of all the planets in Capricorn, the Jupiter and Pluto conjunction that is felt strong, as well as all the other energies, and those are based on letting go of the past things, again, like I said, that don't serve us and that we have to learn from in order to receive the abundance that Jupiter gives. Jupiter always wants to give us positive things out of our hard work. So in conclusion, and wrapping this up, the good news is, and I missed 11:11. I've been talking too long. Let me wrap this up. The good news is, coming by next weekend, Mercury Retrograde is over, and it won't be back until next water season, which is my birthday season, Scorpio season. But I do believe it ends a couple of days before my birthday. This one, it ends the day before my youngest daughter's birthday. Shout out to Zane. And so we can get a little relief of communications, and hopefully when it goes direct, because we've been having such bad communication lately, in my opinion, that people can really start to open up and talk to one another and understand one another. Chiron, like I said, is coming. I'm gonna do something on Chiron, especially by next weekend, because that is the healing asteroid that is going into retrograde in Aries. I don't have the date. I believe it's next weekend as well. I will let you know. Maybe on a midweek check-in, I'll have the dates. So again, this is a lot to take in. Leave me questions, other than liking, commenting, and subscribing. I want us to interact. You're free to find me on Facebook, Zakia Alex Hate, ALEXHATE. It's a play on my maiden name and my married name. My first name is Zakia. My Instagram is ZHustle, Z_hustle. Here you are on my YouTube, TMZ, and TMZ stands for Teaching Everyone Abundantly and Empowering Many. Zakia, enlightening every day. Zakia also means intelligent in Arabic, so other than me having a Lilith in Gemini, which is the communication sign, the sign that likes to research and talk a lot and be chatty with everybody, that energy, and me having a lot of air, also a lot of Libra in my birth chart, makes me really, plus being a Scorpio, makes you really inquisitive and wanting to know more. So anything I can find out for you that I can't tell you right off the top of my head, please let me know, and I will. I appreciate y'all for tuning in today. You all have a wonderful week. I will be back on Wednesday. I do want to get back into the generational planets. I didn't finish Neptune. I will do that, work on that, finishing that this week. I have a couple of birth charts that are due tomorrow, so I might come in on Tuesday just to put a recording in to finish the Neptune generations out, talk about the Pluto and Uranus generations as well too, and move forward with anything that you suggest. I love feedback. I appreciate feedback. I love reviews. I love questions, no matter how harsh they are. And I just thank you all for being here. You all have a wonderful week. One other thing before I go, don't forget to leave out your moon water. I don't want to put too much of the radiation from the computer in it. You see how I do? And put this out. That's another thing you do for the full moon. Put it out so that the moon can shine on it, and then pick it up before the sun hits it. Do your moon water on full moons. Check y'all later.